The best climbing movies come in all shapes and sizes. Some great mountain climbing movies are feature films, and other rock climbing movies are documentaries. A few of the best movies about climbing have been nominated for the Academy Awards. So, in this video, we are going to talk about top 10 climbing films without Alex Honnold. The video is going to be amazing, so make sure you stick to the end. All the films have some doubt, self-reflection, and mishaps. 10. Masters of Stone 1, 1991. Masters of Stone is a documentary about rock climbing that takes place in the city of rocks and American Fork Canyon. It was directed by Eric Perlman in 1991 and produced by Perlman Productions. It is a part of the series Masters of Stone 1 out of 6. It features Ron Kauk, Tony Yanero, Dan Osman, John Bahar, Todd Skinner, Boone Speed, and others. 9. Touching the Void, 2003. Touching the Void is the heart-stopping account of Joe Simpson's terrifying adventure in the Peruvian Andes. He and his climbing partner, Simon, reached the summit of the remote Sayula Grande in June 1985. A few days later, Simon staggered into base camp, exhausted and frostbitten, with news that Joe was dead. What happened to Joe, and how the pair dealt with the psychological traumas that resulted when Simon was forced into the appalling decision to cut the rope, makes not only an epic of survival, but a compelling testament of friendship. 8. 14 Peaks, 2021. 14 Peaks. Nothing is Impossible explores Nepal's deep connection to high-altitude mountaineering through the eyes of Nirmal Nimsdai Purja, a fearless, fun-loving Nepali climber on a quest he dubs Project Possible to summit all 14 of the world's 8,000-meter mountains in just 7 months, breaking the previous record of 7 years. With a team of skilled Sherpas, he traverses Mount Everest, K2, and other iconic peaks through extreme weather, life-or-death decisions, and the emotional weight of the mother's illness back home. 14 Peaks is a thrilling, action-packed story about courage, perseverance, and pushing the limits of human endurance. 7. Dawn Wall, 2017. The Dawn Wall is a documentary about obstacles. Physically climbing the stretch of El Capitan in Yosemite National Park was considered impossible. But that didn't stop Tommy Caldwell, one of the world's greatest free climbers. From dedicating nearly a decade to learning every crevice, Caldwell and partner Kevin Georgeson are suspended with safety ropes. But only their hands and feet kept them on the wall. The razor-sharp granite of the 3,000-foot wall slices open even professional-grade calluses. They fall again and again, and it earns a knee-jerk every time. For climbers, it's torture porn. But they keep technical jargon to a minimum. It's clear to anyone who has even shimmied up a tree that this is an insane feat. 6. Valley Uprising, 2014. Valley Uprising is a much-anticipated documentary from Sender Films about the epic history of climbing in Yosemite National Park and the counterculture roots of outdoor sports. Narrated by Peter Sarsgaard, this film features digitally animated archival photography, spectacular climbing footage, and interviews with Yosemite greats, from pioneers like Yvonne Chouinard, Royal Robbins, Lynn Hill, and John Long to cutting-edge modern athletes like Dean Potter and Alex Honnold. Valley Uprising tells the story of the bold men and women who broke with convention and redefined the limits of human possibility in America's legendary national park. Before we move on, support us by hitting subscribe and the bell icon to get notified when we post new videos. Now, let's get back to our topic. 5. Meru, 2015. The top of the Himalayan mountain Meru remained untrampled until 2011 when a team hauled themselves unaided up the shark's fin. The mountain's sheer peak, led by Conrad Anker, famed for finding George Mallory's body on Everest. The 3 men, including this documentary's co-director Jimmy Chin, are shown itching to the summit past storms and avalanches, fear, and doubt. A calamitous accident sends one of their numbers to intensive care, but 5 months later he's back, hauling and heaving again. It's an astounding feat, not least because they were shooting the film as they went, but there's something, perhaps the profligate use of super as an adjective, that's likely to appeal to the extreme sports market and leave the rest of us stranded. 4. King Lines, 2007. King Lines follows Chris Sharma on his search for the planet's greatest climbs. From South American fantasy boulders to the sweeping limestone walls of Europe, Sharma finds and climbs the hardest, most spectacular routes. Off the coast to Majorca, he discovers his most outrageous project yet, a 70-foot arch rising from the Mediterranean Sea. King Lines featuring Chris Sharma and Melissa Lacasse. You can add it to your watch later list. It's an action and adventure and documentary movie with a high IMDb audience rating. 3. Jeff Lau's Metanoia, 2014. Jeff Lau's Metanoia is the story of a legendary athlete's rise to the top of his sport before a devastating fall from grace that precipitated perhaps the boldest solo mountain climb in history. Jeff's unimaginable new route, Metanoia, solo, in winter, up the north face of the Eiger, changed his life and prepared him for the greatest adventure he's ever been on. 20 years later, Jeff embraces a debilitating disease with the same vision, courage, and grace that he brought to his climbing. Choosing love over fear and embracing reality, Jeff's indomitable spirit and sense of humor defy the odds as he slowly loses his physical abilities and faces his own mortality. 2. Dirtbag, 2017. Dirtbag, directed by Dave Oleski, tells the incredible life story of a man who was deemed to be the original American dirtbag, someone who abandoned societal norms and material comforts in pursuit of a nomadic mountaineering lifestyle. Quite simply, Becky devoted his entire life to the mountains, never marrying, having children, or seeking fame. It's clear that through his driven and often difficult character, Becky burned bridges and lost out on numerous opportunities. He was famously shunned from the successful 1963 American Everest expedition. Many people of that party went on to become household names. That mattered little to Becky, who was all about the hunt. He burned through both first ascents and girlfriends like rocket fuel. There is a great quote in the film which sums up this part of his character well. "Beware of Becky, he will steal your women, steal your route." The film is littered with such snippets of Becky's colorful character, and his acerbic wit really does bring the picture to life. However, this rough exterior does a disservice to a man who was a scholar of the mountains. He had an encyclopedic knowledge of thousands of peaks, not only across North America but around the world. He took a keen interest in geology and the environment before it became popular to do so. This translated into a literary legacy of 13 books, which have inspired successive generations of climbers. Becky defiantly continued climbing until he passed away in October 2017 at the age of 94. Bonus: Wild Boys, 2012. From acclaimed director Paul Diffie and Chris Alstron, come to a wild journey through the strange subculture of off-width crack climbing. Join two brave British lads, Pete Whittaker and Tom Randall, as they take on the decidedly American sport of climbing bloody, painful, and often dangerous cracks that require wedging body parts into places that weren't meant to be. Randall and Whittaker's ultimate goal is to make the first ascent of a renowned off-width test piece known as Century Crack, which looms above the forgotten lands deep in the Utah desert. 1. North Face, 2010. Four men climb a steep, icy, almost vertical rock, where one false move will plunge them 3,000 feet to instant death. This situation can't be anything other than gripping. The German mountain climbing film, North Face, more than delivers on the excitement and terror of this existential flirtation with one's own mortality. Where it falters is trying to link this event to Nazi-era politics and a feeble love story. In 1 year, the film did about 3 million euros in Germany for a solid, if not spectacular, box office. So, that's it. Please like, share, and comment your thoughts below if you like this video. Remember to subscribe to see our next video. Stay safe, and we'll be back soon.